This is Empyrean at 88.1 FM, the home for news regarding Mountain Home, coming to you live with the 3 o'clock news segment. Breaking news regarding the weather phenomenon traveling across the western United States. We've got some big boy news today, don't we, Stanley?
That's right, Richard. Earlier this week, an emergency alert went out, issued by the Air Force of all people, covering an unnatural weather phenomenon, where they issued a shelter-in-place order. Our update for you all today is that the National Weather Service has just released a statement detailing a storm warning for the same affected regions: California, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington. So I guess it seems our unknown weather may just be a late winter storm.
Indeed, Stanley. And if folks are listening to this broadcast out on the road, what kind of weather should they be looking out for?
So far, the National Weather Service has issued that the current hazard types are rain, fog, and high winds. So look out for slick roads where you could start hydroplaning, decreased visibility thanks to the fog, or just getting blown around by the wind speeds out.
That's right. Be careful out there, folks, and if you're listening to this at home, stay home. This warning is in effect until further notice. But weather warnings are not the only thing detailed in the alert. You want to tell us a little about that, Stanley?
Sure, Richard. Beyond your standard only travel in emergency, stay indoors, and preparing those extra supplies like food and water, the end of this alert greets us with the statement, "Do not speak to any outside parties." That does not sound like a typical thing you would deal with, even in the strangest of storms. So, what do you think that means? Who could these outside parties be? Lost hitchhikers who crashed their car into a ditch?
Maybe extraterrestrials, or maybe the Russians.
Well, I doubt it's aliens, but you might not be so off base with the second con. If the Air Force is involved, that means the US military is involved to some degree, so perhaps we're at war with another country and this is some sort of surprise attack, but that wouldn't make sense describing that as a weather phenomenon. Typically, we would have a statement from the president or some other form of alert that would notify us of something like that.
Well, our government's incompetent, but I'm sure that if it was a war, they would not have been able to keep it under wraps. So it is probably nothing for you folks at home to worry about.
Perhaps, but I will remind folks that preparing those extra food and water supplies, finding those flashlights, extra battery, making sure all your electronics are charged, wouldn't hurt to do those things right now, as well as making sure your family knows of any emergency plans or places to meet up, or any other sort of things you'd want to cover, like medications, where your pets are going to go, anything like that. Make sure you have that decided.
As said before, this statement comes to us from both the National Weather Service and the United States Air Force. Stanley, you used to be in the Air Force. In your opinion, what sorts of situations would the Air Force be collaborating with the National Weather Service?
Well, Richard, used to be is a generous term there, but when I was in training to become a pilot, I'm not sure we ever came across something quite like this. Perhaps the closest thing I could think of would be a bomb threat or to tell people to go to bomb shelters, but I don't see why that would be the weather to be involved. I mean, perhaps we would often consult weather authorities in terms of, is it safe to fly today? But that wouldn't be an announcement given out to the people. So I'm not sure, and if there was ever something like this, it was well above my pay grade. But perhaps we could send you down to the station, see if you can get any answers as senior reporter.
Indeed, we could do that. I could drop down there and talk to the guys, exercise my journalistic freedom. Well, how about we go on a little commercial break while I drive down there? Keep safe out there, folks. Stay on this channel for more news. We'll be back after this break.